Hello, dog lovers. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. Welcome to the second or third attempt to go live today. And I'm sorry if you're getting tons of notifications that I'm going live, but this is going to be the final attempt. And hopefully you can hear me and see me. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave these questions in the chat area. I can answer them. So most dog owners, when it comes to we're gonna continue this until I've answered all the questions. So feel free to ask your questions on the chat line. Before we get started, I wanted to give you some updates about the channel. So from now on, I'm going to be posting one video per week on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, just to see how the viewership would be at that time of the week and that time of the day. I just also updated and kind of created new logo. You can see this is the new logo. So if you see notifications from Saro Dog Training, look for this logo. That would be it. It's the new one, so it's new and updated version. Feel free to ask me any dog related questions about dog behavior, dog training, health and diet. Any questions is welcome. And let me know also where you're from. That would be great to know where you're chatting from. So we have Tanya Lambert from and is asking, I have a cockapoo who was abused. He gets anxious at times and reacts like we are going to hurt him. I've had him for a few years now. How do I help him? And Tanya is from Missouri, St. Louis. Very good, United States. Okay, so the thing about rescue the dogs who have been abused, and when you rescue them, I think one of the main things that I want you to understand and also realize is that when you rescue a dog, you're attempting you're approaching this adoption very emotionally. What that means is you're very emotional. You feel very sorry for the dog, and when you feel sorry and emotional, your emotions are weaker. Somewhat gets weaker than the dog itself. The dog may be abused, maybe has developed some behavioral issues, but emotionally they may be here and you may be over here, so you're lower than them because you're approaching this story, this idea, this dog from human point of view, which is very emotional. And when you do that, you become a weaker energy, so therefore you're not able to help the dog the way it's supposed to get help and the way you want it to help, the way you want to help. The results that you want to get, you don't get it because you're emotionally a little bit weaker than the dog. So what that means is you're feeling sorry for the dog, you're feeling bad for the dog, you're feeling, okay, he's been abused and I don't want to hurt his or her feelings. So therefore you're not doing the right things, you're not moving forward with the dog, so therefore your dog has a hard time attaching itself to you, has a hard time believing in you, it has a hard time bonding with you. So in any case, what I usually suggest to do is start training. Training is a good source of bonding, connecting with the dog, especially an abused rescue dog. What you want to do is you're saying he's bonded with my mother, so you never know why I'm guessing your mom has a different energy than you do, so that's why he has kind of bonded with your mom. So you want to kind of maybe take cues from your mom and see what your mom is doing, how your mom is approaching this dog, how is your mom's energy is in front of this dog, and maybe mirror that and find out exactly what your mom is doing. Ask your mom actually. But in general, what I want you to do is start training your dog. So this training gives you an opportunity to bond with your dog, not only to bond, but it gives you an opportunity to create a communication system that you can communicate to your dog, so your dog can communicate back to you, and you can talk to each other in a way, in form that makes sense to the dog. So basic obedience, I would say, is the best plan to start. Start with a basic. Be a little bit more confident of what you're doing. Be confident in a way when you're saying sit, you're not saying sit in a way that it's soft, it's firm, and it's clear to your dog, that your dog understands that you mean it, and when you ask it, your dog has to do it. So when you do that, you create that clear communication, and then your dog has better opportunity to connect with you and bond with you. Yes, so you're saying he gets upset when one of us leaves and will snap. So that's a sign of, yes, as I was saying, so he's there and you're here, right? Well, firmness. So your energy, you see, he's here and you're here. So what happens is when you leave or you do something, he's saying, "Why are you leaving? Why are you doing this?" So he's kind of demanding and ordering what to do. So it has to be the opposite. You have to be in charge and you have to be telling your dog what to do. So for example, in that case, you can teach your dog sit, stay, and wait. And when you're leaving the room or you're leaving the house, you can ask your dog to sit and stay or wait for you while you're away. So your dog understands that when they leave, I'll be okay, and I'm just going to wait for them. So being firm is not being also aggressive, is not being angry, is being clear. Being firm is being clear to your dog in a way that makes sense to your dog. What do you mean in a way? So that's basically what I'm feeling that it has to happen. You have to go back to basics and start training your dog, so you have that connection that when eventually you're going to be in the same level, or maybe you higher than your dog. That way you can have more impact on your dog, because when you are emotional but firm, again, doesn't work. You have to be neutral, firm, and clear. That's very important. Hopefully that answers your question. We also have AW. Welcome to the show. AW is asking, how much food should I feed a 130-pound Rottweiler per day? Wow, 130-pound Rottweiler. So I would say 1,300 grams of food. Your Rottweiler should be eating 1,300 grams of daily intake of food. So basically that should be the ideal amount of food. So I don't know if your Rottweiler is a big dog or lean. You want to find the ideal weight actually. So let's say it's 130, so 130, you go with that number, times 10 equals whatever result is. It's the grams, the amount of food that you have to feed your dog in gram. So this applies to all dogs. And basically, the formula is you find out your dog's ideal weight and divide it by 10. It gives you the amount of food that your dog has to eat per day in grams. So multiply the ideal weight times 10. And also AW is asking, how can I stop my dog from jumping and pulling when walking on leash? So there are several videos on my channel that you can go and watch and learn what to do. But basically when it comes to a dog who's jumping and pulling on the leash when you're going for a walk, I usually suggest what to do is start training your dog at home before you go out. The training has to start at home in an environment that you can actually control and manage. So one of the things that I suggest to do is think of it as a story. So every story has a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning of the story is very important. If you mess up the beginning of the story, the rest of the story is going to mess up too. So the beginning of the story is very important. You have to make sure that before you go for a walk, the beginning of the story, you have complete control over your dog. If you feel that there's a little bit of pulling, excitement, your dog is not paying attention to you at all, I suggest you not to go for a walk at all and improve that than going for the walk itself. So let's say if you want to go for an hour walk and you're getting ready to go outside of the door and your dog is getting excited just before you go out of the door, you want to make sure that you are able to control and bring that excitement down. One of the ways that you can do that is you can play with your dog or do some training or do some physical and mental activity before going out for a walk, so your dog's energy level goes down, so you have a better chance of controlling your dog. So bring the energy level down before going out. So let's say you want to go for a walk for an hour and it takes you half an hour to bring that energy down. Invest that time and effort to work and practice to bring that energy level down for a few days, maybe for a few weeks, and then go for 30 minutes walk. So if it takes you 30 minutes to calm down, take another, just go for a 30-minute walk. It's more important to invest in the time that you're spending to bring your dog's energy down and control it before going to the walk is much important and more beneficial, and it will give you better results if you invest on that for a few days, maybe a few weeks before you go for a walk. So you practice that, bring your dog's energy level down, and if you go for a walk, you'll see that your dog's behavior is going to be different because your dog is going to be calmer. The reason dogs jump and pull on the leash is because they're excited. They're very anxious to go for a walk. So yes, okay, so that's a good point too. So you want to focus on all of these before going for a walk. So as I said, the beginning of the story is very important. Now when you go for a walk, it's a different story. So he starts out walking nicely and then he's jumping and pulling starts after he poops. So the reason that happens, he's actually celebrating. You know, dogs are simple animals. They celebrate for silly reasons. So because he pooped and he's happy, he's celebrating he wants to run around. Cool mug, right? Nice. He's celebrating. He's actually celebrating. My dog does that too, and I've seen some of the dogs do that too. As soon as they poop, they start celebrating. So the celebration is maybe for a few minutes, a minute or two, they're going to celebrate, and then they're going to calm down. So what you want to do is just focus on, here are my tips. Focus on calming your dog down before going for a walk, so it gives you an opportunity to bring that energy level down. Second, you want to watch some of my videos on my channel that I talk about how to improve the walk. So all you have to do is go to my channel and the search bar, just type in walking, uh, or you can go to my channel again. On the playlist you can find walking, I think it's called how to walk dogs on a leash. So that there are several videos, you can watch those. And then the other thing is, create this cue word or cue, somehow you want to create this cue that when you say no or stop or don't do this or whatever, you want to word it so your dog understands that when I do this I have to stop. And I have a video about that too, how to cue a word for a dog to stop certain behavior. You can watch that video as well. So when you cue it, when your dog is celebrating, you can let it to celebrate for a minute or two, and then you can say no or stop or whatever, and then your dog is going to stop. So just improve the walk, but work mainly inside of the house. Don't practice it outside. There's just too much distractions, too many things are happening outside. Any dog will have a hard time focusing on one thing. There are too many things are happening. They have a hard time focusing on one thing or you. So therefore you have to practice everything beforehand, where your dog has some form of communication with you, so you can so you have an opportunity for your dog. So there is an opportunity for your dog to pay attention and focus. So you want your dog to focus on you. Tanya is asking, I have a service dog. He fell out of the car when getting in once. Now he is shy about getting in a new car. After he gets in, he is fine. It's just new cars he has not seen before. He won't load up. After he has gotten in, he is fine. So this is this is a behavior that most dogs will show and do. They are a little bit cautious about things. So that means your dog is sensitive dog. So what that means is your dog is always looking to make sure that, is this okay, is this safe, is this fine. So it needs you to give that assurance to him. Is it him? Yes, he. It needs you to assure him that he's okay. So he as a service dog, they are very connected. They should be connected. English lap. There you go. Well, easy. So they are very they want to connect with you and understand if this is safe, this is okay. So if you have that communication with your dog, if you have that attachment to your dog can get those cues from you. So, for example, me and my dog Harvey, he is always, in certain times he's sensitive about certain things, so he needs my help to get over that hump. So what I usually do is I put the leash on and I take my time and I say, come on, it's okay, you'll be fine. And I take my time and I make sure that he is doing the thing on his own. I'm not pushing him. I'm not putting him in the car. For example, in your case, I don't put him in a car. I ask him to get in the car if possible. If your dog is able, it's a lab, they can easily get in the car. So take your time. I have a video on my channel that you can watch. It's a good exercise that you can do with your dog. Let me see if I can get the name. Fortunately, when I'm on the phone, I was trying to connect with a different program so I could share all these things. But unfortunately, I'm not able to work that out. So I have to figure it out how that works. But unfortunately, I can't share things on the phone. I don't know how to share things on the phone. But the video that I want you to watch on my channel, you can watch the video called "A Fun Game to Train and Stimulate Your Dog at Home." It's a game of table. This is a good exercise that you can practice with your dog, and it will show you how to get your dog to on a table or something that your dog is afraid of. In your case, you can practice on a table or something, and then transfer that information to in the car. So you have 3 dogs in all. So one of your dogs is a service dog, and the other dog is a rescue dog. How about the third dog? Yeah, there are several videos that you can watch in my channel actually to improve that behavior. Um, you can also go to my channel on the playlist. You can look for, let me see, what's the name of the mental and physical games for dogs to improve their behavior. You can also watch that playlist. Also, one more time, mental and physical games for dogs to improve their behaviors. You can also watch that playlist. If you use the games and the ideas that I share in those videos, and you work on your dog, eventually it will be easier for the dog to get on in the car, or any kind of phobia that your dog has. If you make it a game, it will be easier for them to learn. So you have a half American Staffordshire Terrier and half Collie. Wow, you got a great mix. So 3 of them get along well, and each one of them has some issues. So that's a good combination. You have your challenges. But in general, when it comes to dogs who have some behavioral issues, I always suggest to start with playing games with them, and that way you can not only improve their behaviors, they will be more confident and relaxed, and will be easier for them to solve the problems that are going to come in future. Yeah, so they get along well, which is great. All right. Okay, so in general, what I wanted also to mention was good, yes. Usually that's the case. Grandmas usually baby their grandchildren. So in a way, you want to make sure that you're in charge in a way that they're not intimidated by you, they're not afraid of you, but they are respecting you, and they're connecting with you, and they're able to be relaxed and express their emotions. That's very important too. But in general, I wanted to also mention that when you have several dogs with behavioral issues, in general, if you have dogs with behavioral issues, there isn't only one thing that you have to focus on, which mostly, most people and most dog trainers would say, training is a good way of starting, but you have to focus on providing your dogs daily 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and also affection. And you have to provide them in this order. If you provide them in this order, it will be easier for your dog to receive them and take them and benefit from them. And you can't just give them one thing, like just training or just socialization or just affection. You have to provide them all every day 5 daily essential needs, which are again exercise, proper amount of exercise. You have to train your dog every day somehow. You have to dedicate some time, especially if you have a dog with behavioral issues. You have to dedicate some time to work on that dog, train that dog, so they have a way of communicating with you and listening and understanding what you're saying. Socialization is very important. Care is, everybody provides a great care for dogs. And the last thing a dog needs is affection. So focus on these 5 things, and you will see that your dog's behavior is going to be improving faster. I wrote a book about it actually. It's called A Dog's 5 Essential Needs, that you can find it on Amazon as well. So Tanya is saying, Prince, the cockapoo is the only one that gets upset and nervous. So, focus on maybe for some reason you have forgotten to provide what it needs, right? So it's kind of unbalanced now. So focus on providing her 5 daily essential needs, and you'll see she'll be better. AW is asking, when I'm playing or petting my dog, he will hold his head down and lean his body against me, almost knocking me over. Is he showing affection or dominance? That's affection. It's kind of mixed behavior. It's affection mixed with submission. If the head is down and is leaning his body against you, that's submission. And also affection. Dominance dogs, dominant dog usually, in my opinion, there isn't any dominant dog. Dominance has been bred out of dogs. So dogs are approaching in a different form. So usually it's submission or excitement or in a way affection. They attach themselves to us. They communicate differently. Dominance is usually visible and apparent in wild animals. In domesticated pets, and especially dogs, there isn't any domination. Most of the breeds that we've been breeding for the past at least 50 years or so, domination has been bred out of them. So I don't believe in domination. So I'm guessing he's giving you affection and submission. So it's a good thing. If the head is low, it's not good thing. You want to encourage your dog to keep its head up. So what I usually suggest is instead of petting their head, pet their chin, so it brings their head up. So you do that for a while, and eventually they're going to learn that to keep their head up. Tanya is saying, yes, I do work with them each day, and one-on-one, then as a group. Very good. Maybe he doesn't realize how big he is. My lab is like that. He thinks he's small. Yes. So yeah, even in our play care, I see many dogs. They lean. They like that. They love that. They love to connect and attach themselves to us humans. Yeah, and that's great, Tanya, that you're working one-on-one with them each day. So I suggest to work on each one of them for about 15 minutes. So that gives you 45 minutes of a day of training. That would be a lot, yes. But, a committed person will do it. I will do it too. If I had dogs who had behavioral issues and I wanted to improve their lives, I would commit to working on them as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this live session. Thank you very much for being here, AW and Tanya. Thank you for being here. Sorry about all the notification that you got. This is a different hour. I was trying a different time, and I was trying to see if I could get my other program to work, but it didn't work. And but I'll try to learn and figure it out more next time. Thank you very much, and until next time, have fun with your dog.